up in the morning edition.
It's going to cost you billions of dollars just to start cleaning up.
The Minister of Works addresses oil drilling in the Bahamas. Also,
they should be cautious when considering the COVID-19 vaccine.
The role allergies play in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
I never did like the bunch of pileup, the pressure with a bunch of people sitting down.
And looking at the bright side of being a barber in the COVID-19 environment. We have those stories and much, much more when the morning edition comes. We're right back.
First, it's more than just our name, more than just our achievements. It's our nature, and it's where we put our customers. At Bahamas First, we've refreshed our look, but our nature remains the same. We design insurance solutions that protect our customers from life's uncertainties, whatever they may be. We equip you for the future so that you can recover stronger. Bahamas First, what's first for you comes first for us.
Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and welcome to the morning edition. Taking a look at your weather forecast this morning. A building high-pressure system will support a light to moderate breeze over the islands today. It will be cloudy and mild with a few passing showers, becoming fair and cool tonight. We'll get up to a high today of 79 degrees with an overnight low of a chilly 55 degrees. Let's take you out to our streets this morning, where Lloyd Allen and the morning traffic team is standing by with your Thursday traffic commute.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Well, it's a great way to get your morning started right here with us on the ZNS Morning Edition. First look at traffic. Now this one coming in from the intersection of Kemp and Wolf Road. Now already this morning, compared to our last location just yesterday, traffic is significantly heavy at this time. You can utilize this route to get to your various destinations, but expect a delay as traffic is expected to go a bit up during the course of the morning. This morning we're also joined by Corporal Charles Rule from the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division, giving you an initial look at traffic developments over the past 24-hour period.
Yes, good morning, Alan. Good morning, Bahamas. Over the past 24-hour period, we had a total of 12 accidents, 10 of which include damage only. 2 of those accidents include minor injuries.
All right, so luckily just damages, those persons should be okay. Also this morning, we're talking about using alternative routes, particularly useful in high traffic periods. Now we know, of course, traffic tends to increase and change throughout the course of the day. And most drivers, like myself, just really want to get to a desired location. What advice do you offer when it comes to using alternative routes?
Yes, when using alternative routes, we advise persons to use side corners and avoid the main roads, which can take up majority of the traffic. If you're not familiar with those areas during your leisure time or during your off days, you can probably travel through the neighborhood and see the side corners that connect to the main streets.
Well, of course, even if that happens, I know, of course, concern, just 7 days into the year remains for officers, persons still utilizing those phones while driving. And of course, we want to caution drivers not to do that.
Of course, most definitely. We would like to advise persons that the use of cell phone is strictly prohibited. If you are caught using a cell phone while operating a motor vehicle, the fine can be up to $500, which is pretty steep given these times. We'll also like to bring the attention to the speed limit and to advise persons that when there's no signs posted, the speed limit is 25 miles per hour, and to also use proper signals and be aware of traffic signals and light signals.
All right. Well, you heard it first. Of course, today, one of those reminders that you need, rather 3 of them. Remember to use those driving rules, signals, and indicating to other drivers. Of course, avoid using your cell phone while driving, and consider using an alternative route when trying to avoid traffic. That's been a first look at traffic right here in the morning edition. Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
review expected to take place this month on the payment of unemployment benefits to Bahamians. This as millions of dollars have been handed out to assist Bahamians impacted by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. And while a lot of people have returned to work, many people are still unemployed. Minister with responsibility for national insurance and the public service, Brenzel Rold, explains.
The government took the position that benefits would go through the month of January. We did say that we will evaluate early this year, meaning this month, and a further determination will be made. But from what I see in the numbers, it means the government would have directly given to the Bahamian people or transferred back to the Bahamian people benefits in excess of $100 million.
The Supreme Court ruling handed down earlier this week on the controversial issue of oil drilling was a defeat for environmentalists seeking to stop the drilling of oil in Bahamian waters. It's an issue the government agrees with and further ignites the conversation on sustaining the country's vital environment. Transparency in granting oil licenses was what Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works, the Honorable Desmond Bannister, clarified on Wednesday, noting that the Bahamian people should be concerned about the identity of shareholders and whether or not they are public figures. Minister Bannister added that royalties from any licenses should be publicly revealed. But the common denominator for the government is that there is no endorsement of offshore oil drilling anywhere in the Bahamas.
You'll have oil up on your beaches. All the snappers and grunts and grouper that you like, you're going to find them washing up on the shores dead. The lobster, all this sea life that we love, you're going to find them spoiled. And it's going to cost you billions of dollars just to start cleaning up. It's something that no Bahamian wants to. I mean, you've flown through our country, over the islands and throughout the Bahamas, and you see how beautiful it is. And that's why people come here. So you will find that you'd have a decline in our tourism industry. And the things that we know and love about our country would be forever impacted negatively.
The Deputy Prime Minister also feels that the local and international community realizes that the government follows laws, and this move will not tarnish our international environmental reputation.
There was an agreement that was entered into by a legitimate government of the Bahamas, and we have to obey that agreement. At the same time, there are persons before the courts seeking judicial review, and it will show that our courts are free and independent, and they will make decisions based on the evidence before them also. So I think the actions of this government are going to show the world internationally that the government of the Bahamas at this stage deserves a tremendous amount of respect for adhering to the rule of law.
Bahamas Power and Light is advising that beginning tonight at 11 p.m., 4 96-ton engines will be transported from the Arawak Key to the Blue Hills Power Station. The team will be moving one engine per night until Sunday, January 10th. At this time, roads will be closed and detours will be posted to accommodate this move. The engines are rental units aimed at bolstering BPL's generation fleet. They will be used propane as their fuel source, leading to lower emissions and facilitating a lower fuel cost. The project is similar to a major logistical project undertaken by BPL in the spring 2019 to transport the 7 new Wartzilla engines from Arawak Key to Clifton Pier. BPL apologizes for any inconvenience and thanks the public for its patience as they work to improve safety, reliability, and cost of electricity. 14 new cases of COVID-19 reported by the Ministry of Health in its latest release. 9 cases here in New Providence, 4 over in San Salvador, and 1 location pending. That pushes the total count nationwide to 7,959 cases. There are 11 hospitalizations and 20 new recoveries, bringing that total to 6,297. There are 1,435 active cases, and to date, 53,842 tests have been administered. 175 COVID-19 deaths remain on record. While a third wave of the coronavirus continues to hammer down on various countries around the world, officials here at home are keeping a close eye on all possible COVID developments. Director of the HIV and AIDS program, Dr. Nakia Forbes, says it's hard to say if and when there will be a third wave despite the new strain canvassing its way around the globe.
We know with global travel and the movement of people from country to country that's what causes the transmission of infectious diseases from country to country. So sooner or later, we will get the new strain of COVID-19. Now, the public health measures work to prevent getting this new strain of COVID-19. So you cannot say without a doubt we're definitely going to get a third wave. It's dependent on a lot of things, like how well we follow the public health guidelines and prevention, and then also strategies like isolation, contact tracing.
Now, with the new strain in more than 33 countries around the world, coupled with vaccinations being rolled out, for some, there is the concern of an allergic reaction.
It is not unusual for people who are allergic to certain vaccines or vaccine components, for example, components in the flu vaccine, to be advised not to take flu vaccine or the type of flu vaccine that triggers their allergies. So the adverse reaction you're talking about is an allergic reaction. It has been reported that people who have severe allergies, where they get swelling of their lips and tongue or hives, that they should be cautious when considering the COVID-19 vaccine. And that would be no different than recommendations for anyone that has allergies to certain medications or other modalities.
Some sad news to report this morning, as the Cabinet Office has confirmed the passing of former Minister of State for Finance, Sir William Allen. Sir William began his career as a research manager at the Bahamas Monetary Authority before becoming deputy governor of the central bank in 1974 and governor in 1980. Sir William was first appointed as a Free National Movement senator and minister of state in the Ministry of Finance in 1992. In 1994, he was elected to the House of Assembly representing the Montague constituency and was appointed Minister of Finance and Planning until May 2002. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, among the many issuing condolences. He describes Sir William as one of the most accomplished Bahamians of his generation. The Free National Movement Party also sending condolences, saying that Sir William's intellectual capacity and seriousness about his job were experienced by all who knew and came into contact with him. Former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hubert Ingram, reminisced that Sir William's contribution to the development and advancement of our country is immeasurable.
Most about working for the Bahamas tonight is that we don't only focus on New Providence. We cover the entire Bahamas. We have a team here in the northern Bahamas that is ready to bring you the stories, the people, and the news that matter to you. From point A to Z, and covering hurricanes to elections and everything in between.
Welcome back to the morning edition. The United States Congress has certified U.S. President-elect Joe Biden's 2020 election win following protests in the U.S. capital of Washington, D.C. yesterday, which have left 4 people dead. Bahamas ambassador to the U.S., His Excellency Sidney Colley, says he and his staff in Washington, D.C. were steering clear of downtown Washington, D.C. as officials sparred with protesters who stormed the Capitol building where the Senate was in the process of confirming Electoral College results. Ambassador Colley said he watched the developments for most of the day.
The joint session of Congress is debating state by state the return of the electors for the last general election on November 3rd. There's been an objection, and there will be continued objection to 5 of those states. And under their procedure, there'll be a 2-hour debate in both, separately in both houses, by those who are opposing and those who are supporting. In the meantime, all of those protesters who attended President Trump's rally are now surrounding Capitol Hill. It is estimated that there's more than somewhere between 80 to 100,000 persons.
Already there are some 6 murders recorded in this country, and mothers are left to painfully grieve the loss of their sons. In this special series, Lloyd Allen takes a look at the after effects and shares the story of pain, forgiveness, and restoration.
My Calvin is not a nuisance. I know people will say that, all the mothers will say that, but they can check his track record.
Patricia Evans never imagined she would join the list of mothers who lost a child due to violence. She told the Morning Edition, unlike many who walk the path and say not their good child, she is asking why her good son had to be killed. Last week, 31-year-old Calvin Archer, a resident of Dudley Lane in the Farrington Road area, was shot and killed along with another man. His mother, Patricia Evans, remains heartbroken, saying she could not believe the news.
What can I say? Calvin is a humble person. You have a humble spirit. You have to really do something to him to get him angry and agitated. Calvin bothers no one. He's in no gang. He's not affiliated with any gang.
She recounts the last time she spoke with her son.
I said, Calvin, when the chicken finished, you do your part with the craft, and I gone in the room. So he said, all right then, mommy, and that was it.
Evans says she worked hard to teach her children the right way to live, but she says that was not enough to save his life. Her friends and family have not left her side since the shooting on December 30th last year. Now, a similar tale is told by Gladys Lewis, whose 15-year-old son, Perry Elijah Roll, was stabbed fatally on March 26, 2019. She says it still feels like a nightmare.
That was the worst day of my life. I was at home and I received a call. Actually, I heard the neighbor called and she said, your son just got injured.
Gladys says quickly she got a ride and headed to the hospital. She was initially reassured that her son would be fine, but moments later, she was told he had died.
It still feels fresh. The pain never go away.
As her son's birthday is in January, she says this time of year always comes with those hard memories.
Normally we'll be making plans for him to celebrate his birthday and so forth. Now I have to make plans. I am making plans to carry flowers on his grave.
Perry Elijah Roll was killed near the T.A. Thompson School. He was a 10th grader at the time. And as we continue this series, we speak with families and others who tell their stories of moving beyond the pain of death. For the Morning Edition, Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Now to news from the courts. 23-year-old Dino Francis faced a magistrate Wednesday on a murder charge. The Fleming Street resident is accused of killing Hollis Arana back on New Year's Eve 2020 in the Ruperdene Lane area. Reports indicate that shortly after 8 p.m. on that date, the shot spotter system alerted police about shots being fired in the area of Ruperdene Lane off Ponciana Drive. Inquiries revealed that a male was shot multiple times about the body. He was taken to hospital by private vehicle. However, he later died from his injuries. In court, Arana was not called on to enter a plea to the indictable offense. Bail was denied and he was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. That case has been adjourned. While uncertainties may be a natural part of life, pouring all that you can into your children can often prove enough to at least steer them in the right direction. Ian and Rhonda Finley are basking after years of sacrifice to now celebrate their son, who recently got accepted to 8 of 9 law universities applied to, with a full ride to pursue his dream of becoming a lawyer.
I love watching the news, and I made sure that he watched all of the news every night. We watched the international news, then we watched Bahamas news or whatever. So, of course, when it came time for him to go to school, we couldn't contain him here. But we made the sacrifice, and, you know, on the drive, he said, Mommy, this will be the last year. You guys will have to pay for me. And he did it.
Ian Finley says he decided early on to follow the path of his pastor, who invested similarly into his family. He says in seeing his son's dream manifest, it is a clear sign that if someone wants something bad enough, the whole universe conspires in order for them to get their desires.
As parents, Initially, when he wanted to go to college, we couldn't say no, and it just wasn't in the word no. We just prayed about it, and the doors open. Faith without works is dead. We had the faith. He did the work, and the foundation is laid. And the thing about it, the work that he put in, all of the colleges are now, they see in the work.
Education officials addressing the school amalgamation process on the Family Islands, saying to date they have merged up to 14 schools on Cat Island, Mayaguana, Long Island, and Andros due to decline in enrollment numbers. Education Director Marcellus Taylor with an update.
We'll continue to look at the demographics, and especially in the Family Islands, to see where there might be other schools that can benefit from the amalgamation process. And what we'd like to say at this time is people shouldn't see amalgamation from a negative standpoint. They should see it from the ability of the department and the ministry being able to consolidate resources so that we could provide better for the students in those schools. And we have sought in the amalgamation process to utilize those vacated properties for other government services to be delivered. So, for example, in the case of Abrahams Bay, where we vacated the school premises there, that building is now used for them to have a modern government complex.
And on the other side of the break, taxi drivers still feeling the pinch of COVID-19. You're watching The Morning Edition.
This holiday season, let's celebrate life by protecting it. Remember to follow all public health protocols. Wear a mask. My mask protects you, your mask protects me. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Carry a personal hand sanitizer to sanitize on the go. Use technology to stay connected while we're apart. And don't forget to physical distance in public spaces. Have a happy, healthy holiday.
Welcome back. Well, the COVID-19 pandemic and its restrictions has dealt a devastating blow to Bahamians trying to make an honest living, pay their bills, and feed their families from the country's #1 industry. While taxi cab drivers have been feeling the pinch for several months due to low levels of tourists flocking to our shores for a number of reasons. Kenyatta Nairn, who just recently joined the industry, says raking in a few bucks has been rough, but he says he remains hopeful that things will get better.
The economy itself was very strong months ago, and it was really an opportunity to grow and family and get things done. But since the COVID has come in, it's pretty much dwindled to nothing. I still think that the industry has potential. Right now, because we need the tourists to actually come, the challenges have been great. But even with all of that said, I still think that this is a good opportunity for the industry now, with all of its challenges, to actually clean up and start to get some things in order for when the tourists does come back.
President of the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union, Wesley Ferguson, says business has been slow to a crawl for its members. However, Ferguson says they must learn to coexist in a COVID environment.
Now the taxi union has positioned taxi drivers to adhere to all the safety protocols, to even take the COVID-19 antigen rapid test. So we are in compliance with all of the COVID-19 protocols that the government and the Ministry of Health has put in place. And so now we are ready, we're armed and ready for anything that comes our way. The taxi drivers rely heavily on the tourists at the hotels. And of course, you got to also remember that the cruise ship dock is not yet in operation, and that was a big chunk of income for taxi drivers. And there's no definite word on when the cruise ship dock is going to come back on stream. So that we may not even see anything from that for this entire year.
It's been almost a year since the COVID-19 pandemic surfaced here in this country. Still, these many months later, some businesses are still transitioning. Husband and wife duo Tiffany and Raymond Roll have been owners of the Styles Unisex Salon for the past 2 decades. The COVID-19 environment not only caused a staff reduction from 10 to now 2, but also a downsizing of their workspace into a more personalized or intimate setting.
Because
of the transition and the protocols in place. We have to serve one client at a time, and it would not have worked in a big salon as that we had.
I never did like the bunch of pile-up, the pressure with a bunch of people sitting down around. So now you have the book appointments. I'm kind of liking that kind of, it isn't a downside for me. I mean, for me, I'm loving it.
At the time of service, day or night, safety is a #1 priority for this couple.
We have to sanitize before the client comes and after the client leaves. We have to make sure that our clients also follow the necessary protocols. So we don't have any waiting area. They just come in and they will sit and they get right into the service. My clients are served 3 hours, so I have a book of 3 hours, which gives me 5 clients per day.
Cinematic lovers who are having withdrawals can now get their movie fix. The drive-in theater hosted by the Bahamas International Film Festival opened last evening at the Bahamian Rum Distillery. The first screenings are The Golden Record and Roommate Wanted. Additional screenings are scheduled for tonight and tomorrow starting at 6 p.m. Soundprint partners Anton Hinsey and Greg Micheler says it's all about sound dispersion, setting up and having the right angles for viewing.
The drive-in is a component that existed for, when I grew up, and I recall going to the drive-in, and it was the next best option to be able to use the outdoor and social distance so people can still enjoy being entertained. And I think that's one thing that we need. Around the world, they're embracing the drive-in phenomenon. And I think it's going to be here to stay.
As far as the venue, because of the space that we have out here and being a drive-in, it was just really the perfect opportunity for people to social distance. They can still stay in their car, but they can be waited on and they can have a cocktail, a Luna cocktail, which is our rum brand.
And still ahead, Buddy Hield comes up big for the Sacramento Kings. You're watching The Morning Edition.
As an artist, I travel all over the world, and I find inspiration all around me, in the people, and especially the environment. I love the Bahamas with all its natural beauty, from Abaco in the north to Inagua in the south, and all the wonderful and colorful islands in between. But we must all do our part to keep the Bahamas healthy and clean, now and for the future generations. That's why I want you to find a little time to do your part. I'm doing my part because I care. Do you?
Welcome back. Well, Buddy Hield's coming up the clutch for the Sacramento Kings last night in the NBA. The Bahamian sharpshooter drew a 4-point play with under 40 seconds left in the ballgame to put the Kings up by 5, and they would go on for a 128-124 win over the Chicago Bulls. A pretty quiet night for Buddy, finishing up with just 10 points. The Kings are now 4-4 on the season. They play again tomorrow night against the Toronto Raptors. This Saturday, family and friends will lay Michael Scooter Reed to rest following a service at Bahamas Faith Ministry scheduled for 11 a.m. Scooter's brother, Carlos Reed, says he wants to make sure his brother is never forgotten.
And one of the things that we want to do, I want to do personally from my standpoint, because my brother was a sports legend, somebody that really gave his life to sports. We want to start by naming the Peace on the Street. This last year was supposed to be our 20th year, but COVID-19 prevented us from doing it. But we're going to do it this year, and it's going to be called the Michael Scooter Reed Peace on the Street. And we just feel that this name needs to echo. No, if it's just so people could see that when you do good, that you can be remembered. I never knew that my brother made the impact that he did, but so many persons have called me, text me, hit me up on Facebook talking about the impact that he personally made in their personal life, you know what I mean? So, he's going to be missed. I miss him already.
And that's a wrap for us this morning. For the entire morning team, I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a great day and bundle up, everyone.